All right.
Okay, I can see the people watching on Instagram. All right, everybody, brace for impact here. We got a countdown.
We got the countdown.
I think we got it.
Only my phone that dinged.
All right, everybody, Silencia. Here we go. We're getting a little bit of feedback from somebody.
It's Chris.
Okay.
Yeah, mute Chris.
I muted Chris. God, if you only had one of those buttons in real life. Dang. Right. Okay. Hey, everybody. This is the Ask a Painter live show. I am Nick Slavik. I am the host of Ask a Painter Live. I'm also the proprietor of the Nick Slavik Painting and Restoration Company. This is a show where I use my let's all say it together. I use my over 30 years of experience to talk about the life of a master craft person and a paint business entrepreneur. And today is a very special show. For 8 consecutive years, 52 weeks a year without ever missing. I have been in the country, outside of the country, in the wilderness, all over the place, with internet connection, without, and I have never missed a week in 8 years. This is the 8th anniversary of this show, 400 and whatever 16 we're on right now. And today is a special thing. My friends have gotten together and they've decided they're going to roast me today. So you can see the pile of humanity down below here. This is something that has never been done on Ask a Painter. This is going to be absolutely awesome. This is Saturday afternoon. We're all on family time, and all of these people have been prepping for roast jokes. And if the last thing I'll say, then I'm going to turn it over to Roast Master General Jason, who is not wearing a shirt. It's very disturbing watching us from here. If you guys have been privy to the group chat, the group text that's been going on before this, I don't know what's going to happen here. I hope that we all talk to each other at the end of this. Right before the show went live, we all vowed we would be friends and talk to each other. I'm going to try to hold everybody to that. And we'll just see where we go from here. So I am going to turn it over to, this is a bad choice. This is what you call a bad choice.
I do have to say, I was not in that group chat, so I don't know what to expect here. I didn't even get the invite.
Weird. I wasn't in it either.
This is going to get awkward right away.
Free game for me.
Yeah, we all are looking at the tiered levels of friendship that we have now all of a sudden. Okay, all right, guys, here we go. I'm turning it over to Jason. Now, you guys are going to have to allow me to do a little traffic cop in here. I'm going to put Jason up top. Jason's your Roastmaster General. We got an agenda, and we are going to hammer this stuff. So let's go.
Where'd he go? He's confused.
Roche just got better.
All right. I think that means I'm on.
Did we get everybody?
A little bit of a rough start.
A little longer than the normal, but we got there.
A little bit of a rough start, but already better than most episodes of Ask a Painter.
First off, how dare you?
Not that I've ever seen one.
God damn it.
There's been a lot of great episodes over the last 8 years. Of course, more and more have become infomercials for his corporate overlords that write the checks. Sherwin-Williams, Duration this, Benjamin Moore, Advanced that. Nick's selling out so much, even the Idaho painters like, man, let's calm down a little bit. A little much.
Threw Chris Berry under the bus.
No, but Nick's show provides a lot of great information to his target audience. He teaches people you should reflect on how much you've paid in materials and labor to see if you're making money. And other groundbreaking concepts like providing job descriptions instead of just throwing people out into a house and seeing if it works out. Master's class.
Yep.
Right? I was a little worried when Nick said he wanted to do this roast on a Saturday, given that most of his target audience can only see their kids on the weekends. But then I remembered Nick's target audience are the type of contractors that can only see their kids on the weekends and choose not to.
God dang it.
Out there slamming Monster energy drinks. No, it's a very highly fragmented, unprofessionalized industry. That much is true. And seen a few people already upset in the chat, which is good. I haven't seen people this upset since the Painters Union was introduced to a new technology that would move the painting industry forward. People will be too productive. They're going to put too many painters out of work. Less people will be needed. The craft of painting will be lost with any new technology. Of course, with the Painters Union, I'm referencing the 1950s when the union petitioned against the use of the paint roller. This is actually not a joke. This actually happened. They said that their painters would be painting way too fast with a roller instead of a brush, require less men, and put more people in the unemployment lines. The art of painting a building purely by brush would be lost. Now, the unions had their place in American history where they helped mediate the tensions between capital and labor. Now the unions are corrupt and ineffective, serving only the bureaucracy at the top and not the common worker. If you're a union contractor listening to this, not only are you effed, but you're effing over an entire industry that are preventing real progress. I would actually be on the union side if they paid me. So it's not like I have a real moral argument here. I just like to argue for my own incentives. I'm good at messaging. I can be bought. Come get me. All right. So Nick and I met about 8 years ago. For those who don't know, back then we weren't that different in business size. And boy, it's really been the tale of two divergent paths since then. I used to look up to Nick as the big kid on the block. Now I look way, way, way down. We measure our growth in Slaviks these days. No, in some ways, he still is the big kid on the block. Nick has a very wide rib cage. It just what? I don't know how to tell you guys this. He just looks weird with his shirt off. His rib cage is very wide. It's like a physical manifestation of all the hot air from you being such a loudmouth on social media.
I was going to say big heart, but I find
Nick's mouth.
His feelings are getting hurt already.
Nick's known for having a big beard, and his beard is more white than black these days. This old house, more like this old Nick. So old. For those of you who don't know, Nick really wanted to work with this old house and get on their show and do business with them in a meaningful way. But I guess they didn't want him just like his father.
right.
Nick was hoping to partner.
Hold on a second.
For those who don't know, Nick was hoping to partner with his father's painting company as he came of age. And of course, his dad declined. 2 decades later, Nick's company is just barely hanging on by a shoestring. Not only is Nick not making money, but his leadership team is essentially a revolving door of disillusioned young talent. The sad reality is nobody wants to stick around with a company that isn't going anywhere. Maybe your dad was right. Maybe he knew what was best for you. I was just trying to save you from yourself all along.
Is there a joke in there somewhere?
I was going to make a joke about Nick's constant need for affirmation. I literally couldn't think of anything funnier than he makes stickers of his face and hands them out to people. It's almost like he's continually seeking the affirmation he never received from his father. White glove service. Who does he think he is, Elsa? Instead of singing let it go, he's out there singing, let me know, Dad, if you actually love me. He doesn't. And somehow you've disappointed him more than you've disappointed yourself. You've disappointed your father more than Chris Moll once he realizes my jab at your stupid painting audience is actually about him.
Jason,
wrap it up, Paris. Jesus,
Nick is known for not having
I'm
painters wear white pants. Instead, he has them wear cream-colored pants. Now, Zach Kenny isn't able to be here today, but Zach Kenny is familiar with having cream on his pants every time he thinks of doing something fiscally irresponsible.
Paris getting spicy. I love
Zach
it.
couldn't be here today because he knocked up a young Asian girl on vacation pretending to be a father before he walks out in a few years.
Oh. God dang it.
We should all watch our language today. I see some people getting spicy already
Also,
in the chat.
Zach, congratulations on your new baby.
Congratulations.
Yes.
I'm sure everything will be great. This is awesome. God dang.
And I would just say, yeah, watch your language in the chat. Not because I'm going to judge you, but because the Lord your God will judge you. And that's the Judeo-Christian God with the white beard and the clouds, Zach Kenny. I know you recently converted to Islam to avoid a fatwa being placed on your head from your recently pregnant second wife's highly religious father.
We should start laughing. We should laugh.
I'm going to hand this off to our next roaster, which will be Matt Kuiper. And there's a lot of interesting material to pull from Matt Kuiper. In fact, you may not know, but Matt is married to the majority owner and CEO of a large painting company. Congratulations, Matt. Matt is also married to the vice chair of the PCA, who will become the chair after Nick's term. Congratulations, Matt. No, but in all reality, Matt shaves his arms. Matt's arms are so naturally hairy, even his leukemia cells think it's a bit much. Now I'm going to introduce someone who has hopefully fully recovered from hairy cell leukemia, Matt Kuiper.
All right,
Oh.
Matt, just hold tight 1 second. All right, everybody. We have near record numbers on Ask a Painter right now, live viewing. I want everybody to pause and share. Share it to the paint contractor group. Share it to all your other groups, the gathering groups, everywhere else. Pause, story, share. Matt Kuiper, take it away.
Oh, Jason, thanks for hosting. I knew I was going to get some zingers from you. You know, you and your wife are so fertile. You have as many kids as you have businesses.
All compliments.
I guess. You changed your Instagram handle to Jason Paris Philosopher. I think you need to change that to Jason Paris Autistic. Jason, you bring such a wide spectrum of wisdom to the industry. Thanks for that. Not only do you bring a wide spectrum, you're also on it. Chris Mole is here. He's the more drunk version of drunk Elvis. All right, let's get on to our guest of honor here, Nick. You've got this strange infatuation with minivans. You've got so many minivans, even Uber is like, nah, man, we're good. We don't need that many.
It's too many.
You've got so many minivans, it looks like your shop is a soccer mom convention. I half expect orange slices and Capri Suns every time I show up.
Love that.
Your shop looks like a dealership, but only for minivans. It's like if you skipped right past cool cars and went straight to practical car of the decade. But
that.
You know, that's just the easy stuff, the minivan stuff. Now we're going to get you where it really hurts in your feelings.
Great.
You do have feelings, right?
So many feelings now.
I discovered in the last 18 months that they do exist, and I'm coming to grips with them.
What was that like the first time you cried 3 months ago?
You guys all saw it.
Yeah, he's so bung-eyed, the tears ran down his back.
No one can understand you.
English, please.
So, you know, part of this is just being a Minnesotan. Just Minnesotans are so polite. Their idea of getting angry is like, oh, for Pete's sake. That's their version of cussing. And that's a lot like Nick.
That's spicy.
Minnesotans apologize for everything, too. You can bump into them, and they say, oh, sorry about that. They're the only people who apologize for somebody else's feelings. But, you know, Nick, he loves his oil primer. It's his fix for everything. He only wishes it was a fix for his family trauma.
Oh, God damn it.
Yes, there you go.
Nick, your dad is so MIA that you have to Google father figure just to understand what it means.
Dang it, Matt.
Your relationship with your dad is so non-existent. Even your therapist or performance coach needs a map and a flashlight to find any memories of him.
Oh.
I'm not going to make it very far.
You had to fire your dad for being unreliable in your business. He's unreliable at work and even less reliable at home.
Oh, no.
We also know Nick loves his SOPs. He's got an SOP for everything. I imagine Nick, hopefully Amy's not listening, Nick probably has an SOP for how to make love to his wife. Step 1. Oh, yeah, there's no step 1 for Nick. He's never home.
Son of a bitch.
Good thing he doesn't, because there would be some sort of meeting to discuss his performance post action.
We call that an after action review.
Yep. You know, if he did have an SOP, it would be step 1, insert tab A into slot B.
God dang it. Maggie, how did you got a Maggie? You let this fly?
Okay. All right.
Oh, no.
All right. And, you know, and Nick and Jason gallivanting around the world together. I imagine they share a hotel room. They're gay. Boom, roasted. Your door.
We are
Right
very
in the
happy.
face.
Very
Right
happy.
in the face. Matt Kuiper, everybody. Give it up for Matt Kuiper.
Oh, Matt.
Savage.
You went there. They sent the memo out and everything. You
My
still
tummy
did.
hurts.
Lord. I am scheduling a performance coaching session for Monday.
We don't want to hear about it.
Hey, Matt, the content was good, but the delivery was worse than your first child.
Jesus.
Wow.
That was more of a
Real
burn for
personal here.
Maggie. That's not nice.
Real personal. Well, Our next roaster will be Chris Elliott, and both Chris and Nick actually have served in the military, and we have Memorial Day weekend coming up next weekend. So, Nick, we want to thank you for your service, serving out of high school. Thank you for Nick.
You're welcome.
Our military has been back-to-back world champions. We have a great army. We made a meaningful contribution and impact on the world during those 2 world wars.
Mhm.
Now, Nick did go serve in the Middle East, and it's been about 20 years there, and we don't have much to show for it, much like his business.
God dang it. Paris.
No, but Nick really did go to the Middle East, and while over 430,000 innocent civilians have been killed as a direct result of our military excursions there, you can't blame Nick for that.
This is going
You really
great.
can't blame anybody for that. It's called bad intelligence, right? Yellow cake. The military industrial complex happened to have bad intelligence that furthered their interests and lined their pocket with big oil, similar to how Fauci had bad intelligence that furthered his interest and lined his pockets with big pharma.
Mute this guy.
You see the time?
Paris, we're gonna get the big wood cane and drag you off here pretty soon.
No, I'm not saying Nick was directly responsible for the over 10,000 children that died in Iraq alone. I am saying you indirectly contributed, and while it wasn't explicit, you knew what you're doing was wrong. You did it anyways. Shame on you. But thank you for your service. The U.S. military made so many empty promises to disillusioned recipients that even marketing companies in the painting industry were like, noted. A lot of marketing companies in the industry these days. Lots of sleazy, predatory, slimy marketing companies. Up next, our military veteran, Chris Elliott.
Goodness gracious. So Nick and I both served in the military, but I'm the only one that looks like it.
God damn it.
So listen, it's not like I had anything else to do on this beautiful Saturday. Thought I would just go and listen to a couple dorks talk about who's going to carry the boats. So in my opinion, the best part of a Slavik roast is just simply not fucking going. But I do want to touch on Jason and Nick, like the secret missions, guys. Come on. Or is it a mission to keep it secret? Listen, I'm worried about this roast. I think this thing could get ugly, almost as ugly as Heritage Painting's rebrand. Slavik planning a Slavik roast is the most Slavic thing I've ever seen. Thank you. And I really want to touch on the painting thing real quick. Painting, the thing you do when everything else fails, professional rock bottom.
Oh no.
So I'll get going here. I met Bradley, one of our participants here at a Nick Slavik retreat. I'm sure you guys have all seen that online. I shared the sentiments of every single participant. I think most of them are here. Who is this annoying little shit? However, Bradley taught me something very valuable on that trip. He taught me that if you're one to wake up early, strap on your shoes, and go on a cold run with Jason Paris, that you too can steal the lessons needed to run a mildly successful painting business. Yeah. Bradley, good job, man. I love you. So glad you're able to make it. I heard you had caught cold living in the deep shadows of Jason Paris. I've heard of keeping your way to the top, but I've never heard of sucking your way to the middle.
Glad that's buried somewhere in the middle of the show. Damn.
Bradley worked out 365 consecutive days, something else he copied. I can't imagine working out that hard and still look like a 12-year-old boy. Hey, did you guys know Bradley's an admin of a Facebook group with thousands of painters? Sure, you never heard him say that. Love you, Chris. I'm gonna get going on you, brother. Your accent seriously makes me glad I lost my hearing in war. 168 hours in a week. 168. If you listen to Chris tell you, he's painted 172 of them. Chris, you probably won't be able to do the math. You once called me your proper bloke, but Chris, after a hard weekend of drinking, dude, you got that proper bloat. Chris has an impressive memory. You've heard him belt out movie quotes and songs. He loves reading and memorizing concepts of some great books. But he's especially proud of never implementing a single one of them. Chris loves Elvis. He looks like him. He sounds like him. Well, only if you're familiar with the cheeseburger version of Elvis. Chris operates in a small market in Minnesota. You'll know this within the first 30 seconds of speaking with him at any industry event. Seriously, it's small. Not the first time Chris has heard that, but there are seriously more roasters here than Chris's team has teeth.
God dang it.
I'm a little out of order here, but
Just hit him, Chris Elliott.
Matt Kuiper fought cancer this year, and he literally said it was better than enduring another Nick Slavik retreat. He said the treatment was difficult, but not nearly as difficult as the hate mail he received from Bradley, being pissed off that he stole some of the spotlight. Seriously, not cool, Brad. Matt and Maggie, thanks for taking a break from the company your subcontractors built. Glad to see you. Harpeth Painting has a slogan that reminds me of the movie Dodgeball. Here at Harpeth Painting, we're better than you, and we know it. Real heartwarming. Matt and Maggie are two of my favorite people. I call Maggie for business questions, and I call Matt to ask if he can put Maggie on the phone. Jason, I'm so glad Jason Phillips couldn't be here. I'm sure he's off being awkward somewhere else. Probably with Will Reyes. That's a love story I haven't seen since watching The Notebook. It's amazing how Will Reyes has been working out for 3 decades and still has no signs of aesthetics. Big bald guy with an offensive personality. So original, never seen that before. Juan Vasquez couldn't be here. He's keeping consistent with the board meeting participation.
God damn. It was like collateral damage.
Jason Paris thinks if he runs enough marathons and enough miles that he can outrun the pain and suffering he endured from his childhood bullying. Jason, you are doing great things with Aleph Holdings, or what I like to call gathering of retired youth pastors. That place could set a record for a collective of late bloomers. I didn't know this until recently, but Jason Paris was the captain of his wrestling team. I congratulated him as a fellow wrestler, and he said the real reward was getting to smell his fingers after practice. Jason, that's weird, bro. Jason, you're the only person that I know has ever faked being on the spectrum to be cool. Zach Kinney, he's obviously not here. Zach Kinney's the human starter pack for Fine Paints of Europe. His Instagram is super compelling. 500 pictures of high gloss paint. We fucking get it, dude. You can see your reflection in the paint. He puts 20 coats of primer on a door just to justify charging a year's salary to paint it. He wears round lens glasses to remind you that he's a fancy painter. He's better than you. Zach Kinney typically gets off to a rough start, but typically finishes with a happy ending.
Christian like that one.
The Moose Painting guy is here. I didn't make any jokes from you. I've actually never heard of you. The only thing I know is you're the discount version of Zach Kinney. Maybe put a camera in front of your face and I might recognize you. What a concept. Creating videos of doing basic painting projects. What the hell is this world coming to? Fucking millennials.
Leave Christian alone.
Listen, I thought Chad was going to be here. Chad completed an Ironman last year. That's pretty cool, I guess. I mean, there needs to be something to distract the socially awkward. That wasn't a joke on Chad. That's just another Jason Paris diss. Chad, Hannah, I don't have any jokes for you. Emily loves you and said you're off limit, which is also what you say to Chad. Chad's title is the operations manager, but Skylar refers to him as the disappointment. I'd like to touch on Sherwin-Williams. I heard they were on.
You're gonna throw Sherwin-Williams.
So they're supposedly the unofficial sponsor of the roast. However, as usual, they didn't contribute any funds. However, the participation, or we'll all get 6% surcharge for our participation. Sherwin-Williams reps are the epitome of that dumb guy who makes you feel dumb because they are so fucking dumb. The audacity. They blissfully walk around acting like they're better than the contractors who easily make 4 times the amount that they do. I mean, that's pretty special. If you have a lunch meeting with Sherwin-Williams corporate, everyone at the table will have 20 years of experience with the company, but it's not because their jobs are so great. It's just because no one else will hire them.
Hashtag SW Paint Pros. There's a link in my bio to their free color consults. Please don't fire me, Sherwin. I love you guys. God dang it.
All right, hold on. Some of my Nick stuff didn't get organized. Hold on.
All right, Elliot, come on, wrap it up, dude.
I'm not done.
Yeah, do we have time limits on this?
Just hold your horses.
Yeah, I thought a roast was like one joke a person. Like Elliot.
I'm sorry, I wasn't in the fucking text group.
There was a reason for that.
All right, hold on. I'm getting there. I didn't want to leave out the good ones. All right, Nick, bragging about being in an unlicensed trade is like bragging about being good at masturbation. Master craftsman, listen, dude. School teachers do this successfully in the summer for a side hustle. It's not that serious, bro. Nick Slavik's company uniforms are beige to match his personality. Nick Slavik recently celebrated 250 reviews. That just took a short 15 years. As you have heard, Nick Slavik is the sole proprietary of the Nick Slavik Painting and Restoration Company, which means he is lacking a parent company, something he's all too familiar with.
That was a good
Nick
one.
Slavik was a paratrooper in the Army, or what I like to call a wannabe Ranger.
Oh, how dare you.
Nick and Jason, your secret evening parties at the expo are not a secret when you invite everyone. We should explore a new title, maybe Aluff Holdings solicitation session. I don't know. We can whiteboard it later. What a party! Jason Paris in the corner eating some sugary snacks while Nick's chumming everyone up in his uncle's tracksuit. All the while, Chris Mole is in the corner telling everybody about his small market. Nick, I haven't asked for everyone, or Nick hasn't asked for everyone at his retreat, but his personal ask has remained the same. Please make sure you pay your $3,000 invoice.
Keep the lights on at the Slavik farm.
we haven't asked for you, Nick. Stop with the ask. We just want to get fucking drunk, dude.
Do that.
Nick, it's so impressive what you've done. You've proven that if you flood everyone's feed, that you too can capture the attention of a 1,000 member association. Speaking of the PCA, 140-year legacy of Dave Riker.
Dave Riker.
And we've had women and minorities for 5 of them.
You're a board member.
Chris Mole made me tell that joke. Hey, Nick, seriously, man, it's cool. Like, if you stick at it, you might be as good as that Idaho painter guy. That guy, now that's really something. Nick hasn't missed an Ask a Painter live in 8 years, and I haven't broken my streak of not watching a single one of them.
Oh my God.
Data versus feelings. Jesus, Nick. In your closing speech at the expo, you could have hit us with a little bit more data. You decide that's the moment to release 40 years of pent-up emotion. In that moment, I wish I had a freedom machine to get me the hell out of there. I looked over at my wife during your speech and saw her crying. And I said, I know, babe, it's emotional stuff. She goes, no, please just promise me you'll never be that big of a pussy.
Jesus Christ.
I think that's
That
You
was
said this
worth
was off the top of your head. What the hell? You're reading a book, Chris Elliott?
it. Nice work, Chris.
Dude, I
You've
did
been
that
doing this
like-
for
I did
2
that like
weeks.
Told you read a novel.
tequila and drinking beer. Let's go.
Facebook
Next
cuts
up.
you off after 2 hours of a live feed, dude. Come on, let's
Yeah.
go.
A+, Chris Elliott. Let's give Chris a round of applause there.
Love you
Hey, there
guys.
we
Thank you,
go,
my
Chris
friends. I love you guys.
Elliott.
All right. Wow.
This is
Up
a
next, we have Maggie Kuiper. Maggie Kuiper. Maggie is a very healthy human being.
Who is
Yeah.
Maggie?
Maggie.
Margaret.
Maggie.
Hard.
You know you're from Minnesota when you can't say her name right.
Maggie. Get in the car. Maggie has a great relationship with her father, unlike Nick. Maggie lives a fairly private life. She keeps the card close to the chest, as they say. When it comes to her personal life, Maggie Kuiper is more tight-lipped than Sherwin-Williams is about discussing their rebate program. Up next, we have Maggie Kuiper.
Maggie.
That's what you have against me, Jason.
You're such a nice person.
Compared Maggie to Sherwin's rebate program. Nobody's got anything on Maggie.
Good relationship with her father. Just
I know. I'm just lovely. Okay. So this whole idea came from the Netflix roast of Tom Brady. And well, Jason Paris is no Kevin Hart. It's good we're following their lead to be inclusive to short men and include Brad Ellison in this roast.
Yeah, there we go.
If you didn't know, Brad, he's really grown this large company in Detroit, Michigan. It's really just unfortunate he couldn't do the same for himself. And man, I'm telling you, for a short guy, you really married up. Man, we need a telescope to see your wife's league. It's really encouraging for average men. You're like a walking billboard. I mean, yard sign for anything possible. I should probably stay away from making fun of Brad's obsession with CrossFit, seeing as I was once a member of the cult. But I do have one serious question. Can you still RX the workout if you use a stool to get on the pull-up bar? I mean, I think it's great, Brad, that you aim to inspire others with your daily workouts. It's lovely. It's like the old adage, if a workout doesn't get posted on Instagram, did it even happen? Kind of like Jason Paris, if your blender doesn't get the limelight, what are you even doing with your life? I guess the question is more philosophical, which I know you love, Jason. You know, Jason identifies as a philosopher, as Matt said. He also pays for his blue check mark. But honestly, I respect, Jason, that you're trying to elevate the industry, something Brad can never physically do.
Oh my God.
Oh, Brad, you know I love you. Almost as much as Hannah loves her turtles.
Yeah.
Hannah, I miss you so much. I feel like there's been a lot of friction in this roast, and your big smile always smooths things out. Your family and team have been through some rough challenges in the last few years, and you've handled them with real grit. Keep at it, girl. I know you'll be fine.
I see what she's doing there.
Sandpaper. Oh, fun. Yes, Maggie. Maggie.
PG,
Maggie.
PG. Speaking of fine, Zach Kenny, how hot is that baby mama of yours? Oof. I cannot wait to see him go from cool guy with shiny doors to bulk diaper purchasing at Costco.
Yep.
That sweet little baby's first words is going to be like, "What's up, IG?" But really, I wish Zach was here because I really want to know if putting together his car seat and folding his stroller has been easier or harder than this high gloss paint he brags about. Oh my gosh, Matt was the worst at strollers and car seats. He could help me build a $9 million paint company, but couldn't button a onesie without crippling his sanity. I probably shouldn't roast my own husband since he,
Oh, I didn't know this was coming.
No,
he did just have cancer and all. Cancer really does suck, but it sure grows on you.
Oh yeah,
You were so inspiring, babe. You hit the gym between chemo treatments. You showed up for work. I'm so thankful to be next to you in this journey, especially because they do say 1 in 2 people get cancer, so it feels really safe.
The bright side.
And yes, we're all here for Nick, the anniversary of some great show that he loves. Like Tom Brady, I think Nick wants to consider himself the GOAT, which apparently means greatest of all time. But I feel like there's a better acronym for Nick, something like guy owning all the trauma.
Ooh.
That's Nick.
Yeah, Maggie Kuiper.
Get it in there,
Oh,
Margaret.
yeah.
Get
All the
it in there.
trauma.
God dang it.
Well, yeah. Up next, we have Chris Mole, who made it. So we're all thrilled about that. We do have a time limit, Nick, Chris. So rail in a little bit. Chris Mole is from a small town. And you know who else is from a small town? Nick Slavik. Nick Slavik is from a small town called New Prague, Minnesota. Not many people have heard about it, but if you look it up, you'll find a few things. Let me pull up a few articles from the Star Tribune.
No, Jason. No.
Two
Please
Minnesota high schools
I'm
refused to
cancelable.
compete with New Prague teams after reported racist incidents.
God damn it. It's my hometown. I have
Multiple
to live
incidents
here
of
the rest of my
racist
life.
chants and racist bullying reported at New Prague schools.
No.
Now, just because Nick is from a small town doesn't mean that he's a racist loser.
No.
You know, sometimes people escape the bad soil of those small towns. Through some combination of nature and nurture, that town will actually produce a productive member of society, an entrepreneur that ends up leaving their small town and finding success. Nick is actually an entrepreneur, except he never left his small town and he's never found success.
God dang it, Paris.
Chris Mole, the floor is yours.
That wasn't a joke.
Well, just say that you only roast the ones you love, so this will be short.
Hey, English,
Nick,
Paris.
I've got an ask for you. Stop.
English, Paris.
Yeah, shut up, you fatty. Nick Slavik's been painting for almost 3 decades, but all that sitting in an office chair making spreadsheets has sculpted his bohemian ass. Small, sucked in, and barely there. Just like the excitement in his posts. It's like he's holding in a fort or something, you know. Nick's been painting for almost 30 years, man, but his social media makes us think that he's been practicing being average for even longer. You know, on our turkey excursions, Slavik's son Milo's so skilled that Nick's considering renaming the trips to Take Your Dad to Work Day. Hey, Slavik, I must say, those Bear Peen commercials are a new low. It's like watching a gourmet chef chill for fast food. We all know Bear's the dollar store of all paints, and here you are, pretending it's a gold standard, selling your soul for some quick cash while not even using the shit you sell. It's like a Ferrari driver trying to convince us that a mom van's just as good. Stick to what you really know, Nick. You're not fooling anyone. The only thing longer than a Brandon Pierpont podcast is his face.
No.
Ellison worked out for 365 consecutive days, not one missed, and yet he still can't outlift an average woman. In less than 2 years, Bradley Ellison's lost so much hair from the top of his head from spending time underneath Jason's desk. Stressful job, huh? Chris Elliott calls himself an Army Ranger, but the only thing he successfully ambushed is a snack table. Am I right? Matt, all that testing, your wife still runs the show. I'm impressed you manages to keep a grip on those teeny weeny nuts of yours. Jason Paris, I really didn't want to do this, okay? Jason Paris, your collection of meme shirts are more cringe-worthy than your social skills. Wearing outdated internet jokes as fashion statements, that's peak desperation for attention. Nobody's laughing, Jason. They're just embarrassed for you. Time to retire those shirts and maybe try dressing like an adult.
Oh, no.
Look at him.
Christian, Mr. Moose painting, Christian's freckles are so ginger it looks like he's been slapped with a wet tea bag. Like someone stood him in front of a screen door and farted at him. Zach Kenny, Mr. Zach Kenny, one of my favorite people of all time. He's such an emotional wreck. He wears loafers hoping they'll take him on a journey to peace, but he never gets there since he's too busy getting addicted to everything on the way.
So mean.
My good buddy Chad talks about his marathon achievements like he's training for the Olympics. Dude, we know you just run away from Hannah's endless chatter. Hannah does have a gift on not shutting up, you know. She could talk a glass eye to sleep. It's no wonder Chad's constantly running. No wonder Chad's constantly running marathons. Jason has the eyes that have haunted 1,000 hallways.
Oh, no.
Nick, you've done a fantastic job with 8 years of Ask a Painter Live. I mean, who knew it would take that long to convince anyone that painting's more than just watching paint dry? Maybe one day you'll be as good as Chris Berry.
You stumbled on that one. I'm not giving you credit for that one.
Yeah, no, that's it.
Wow.
I'll finish it up. Let's give it up for our paint business elites who've never even sniffed a paintbrush. You wouldn't know the difference between primer and top coat before it slapped you in the face. Oh, and let's not forget those LinkedIn profiles as well. Scrolling through your pages is like a masterclass in creative writing, like painting industry visionary. Is that code for never touched a drop of paint? Maybe once you stop photoshopping yourselves into job sites, you'll finally figure out which end of the brush to hold. I love you.
We love you, Chris.
Love you.
Oh, Chris.
Can we give Chris another 5 minutes so he can do that where we can understand it?
Right, where are the subtitles?
I was trying to find subtitles.
Really enunciate there.
God.
All right, we've got a little bit of a time limit, so I'm going to go quick here. Our next voice is going to be Hannah. Hannah is from California, and she has a very deep voice.
Oh,
So someone with a very deep voice from California.
Is that what she's known for?
do I?
Jason, is that what
No,
she's
I don't-
known for?
I've never met you.
You're a damn liar, Jason. She does not.
Okay, Hannah is great. She has a great relationship with her father, unlike Nick Slavik. Here we go, Hannah.
Dang it.
Oh my God, this is so bad. So good. Okay,
Man, I'm
I
sorry
really
for
hope
pulling
I
you
don't
into
get canceled. I don't want Surf Prep getting like sued or canceled. So let's hope this goes okay. Oh, okay. Well, everybody, thanks for having me on the show today. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Hannah Kaloff. I do marketing for a company called Surf Prep. When people think of a marketing job, they may think of someone who does strategic market research, implementing detailed product campaigns, or even analyzing data. But let's be real. I don't know how to do any of that. I just get paid to go to PCA events and party it up and drink in penthouses with all of my friends.
Club 19107.
That's the club. It's secret, but everyone knows about it. Yeah. So this isn't meant to be a joke. It's just actually truly odd. The first time I ever met Nick Slavik, we were on a beach in North Carolina. Like I met him on the sand. I didn't meet him in a house. And Nick was in a button-up shirt with socks and shoes on. Just freaking weird. I don't understand that at all, and it still confuses me. So I'm going to describe Nick. Is my voice really deep right now, everyone? Should I get a little higher?
Very healthy human.
My feelings are hurt.
He's Minnesotan.
I'm going to describe Nick how Nick describes himself. I'm a shy, non-social, reserved Army vet from Minnesota. The dude is so freaking vain that he hands out thousands of shirts and swag items every year with a picture of his face. Does that sound shy and vain and reserved? Not vain, it is vain. But Nick, the shirts are a great marketing shtick. I've collected about 15 over the years. One day, a couple years ago, I was walking around our Surf Prep warehouse and my coworker, Michael, said, he loved that I always take pride in God and wear the Lord Jesus on my clothes. And speaking of t-shirts, my husband, Chad, is the luckiest guy in the world. And let me tell you why. Instead of ever wearing lingerie to bed, I wear a different colored Nick Slavik t-shirt so that every single night when Chad closes his eyes, he sees a picture of Nick Slavik's face.
What's up? Love that.
Lucky
Love
guy.
Nick claims to be a painter, but he shows up to events in Argyle sweaters looking like a frat boy from Cambridge. Come to think of it, I don't think I've ever seen Nick or Jason in painter's whites. Last week, they hosted a gathering of painters dressed like this. What is Jason even wearing?
No, Jason.
What is on his socks? Like, what is the PCA doing?
Special boy.
Two of PCA's chairmen, I don't know. You guys have got us fooled. But by
Hannah
the
came
way,
with evidence. You printed out evidence and brought it with you.
so much evidence.
Awesome.
And by the way, has anyone ever seen Jason Paris paint? The only colors that guy blends is the berries in his smoothies.
Smoothies.
I'm a fraud.
Most men get excited about sports or hunting. Nick gets excited about spreadsheets and SOPs. There's no doubt in my mind that Nick had an SOP for courting women when he met Amy. And thank God he did, because we all know that woman is the true and only proprietary of that household. Proprietor of that household.
22 steps. I have it all time. Production rates. We're good to go.
So this is where a lawsuit might come in soon.
Yeah, that's it.
If you really know Nick, you know he surrounds himself with like-minded human beings. One thing I've noticed is every single one of his friends has the mindset of David Goggins. You can catch Bradley weightlifting and then running 10 miles in negative 30 degrees at 4 a.m. Then there's Matt Kuiper. And the truth is, none of us really know how he's gotten so muscular. All we do know is he has some kind of weird infatuation with trying to look like the PCA's very own Hulk Hogan.
Is that even wearing clothes in that picture? Do we have to blur that out? What the hell's going on here? Blur that out.
I wonder where you got that picture.
I wonder where I got that picture. And sorry to bring up lingerie again, but if Matt is that confident wearing those little shorts in public, I mean, I've seen it more times than I can count. We all know Maggie has a banana hammock for Matt with Nick's face on it.
How'd you get a picture of that one?
They have it. Nick Slavik started selling this. He started selling those.
Are they
Only
edible?
fans.
So
Are they made in youth sizes for Bradley?
Side roast.
So to cover this again, because I'm trying to still figure this thing out. They say you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Jason, he's running ultra marathons. Chad is doing Ironmans. Bradley doing CrossFit competitions. Chris Elliott, and it's just everyone's muscular and in very good shape. The only thing I've ever seen Nick run to is a cooler. And the only thing I've ever seen him curl is a beer. He's probably doing it right now. You've probably seen it. We're getting those biceps working, Nick.
Dang it.
By the way, Nick, what ethnicity even are you? On any given day, you can shave your mustache to look like Tom Selleck. And by day 2, you have more facial hair than ZZ Top's entire band combined.
Beard grows fast.
That's it.
And speaking of Nick Slavik's looks, have any of you ever been on his website? The first time I hopped on, I didn't know if I was on a painter's website or an OnlyFans for people with beard kinks who do weird things with paintbrushes.
Yeah, baby, that's what's up. That's called portraiture.
That is weird.
It's pretty nice.
When did you take this? Like, what was that?
I'm not going to tell you how many years ago.
Did you iron them bibs on a walk?
Chris,
Oh, and then I think he might even sell those custom banana hammocks on that website, and they are in children's size for Bradley on there.
Boom. Roasted.
So when putting on events, Nick likes to talk about how the community of painters can help elevate the industry as a whole. This is why he attends the Gathering of Minnesota Painters. This is where Chris Mole tags along. Chris got a job painting a massive church, but no one could understand a damn thing he said, so he had to bring Nick along to help. And here's the worst part. Chris has acted like he's a big surf prep advocate the last decade, but he'll get paid off by Festool and just do the job for them.
God damn it. Hannah, I told you not to talk about that. That was Circle of Trust stuff. Damn it. Dang it.
Okay, but in all reality, that's all the jokes I have. I love you all very much. Nick, you are amazing, and you have done awesome things for the industry. You're awesome.
There you go. Prop Master Hannah.
Hannah brought evidence with her. This is great.
Impressive.
We are selling these on surfprepstanding.com.
Let's that's a little much. Our next guest, we have Christian Manhard. Christian Manhard. Nobody knows who you are. And somehow you got on this roast. Your name, when you don't really know something. All right, we'll just go with you. Your last name is Man and Hard. And why don't you just tell us some roast about Nick?
Well, Nick, first off, congratulations on 8 years of Ask a Painter Live. It's no surprise you've had lots of traction with it being your main platform. It just speaks volumes about your audience. I mean, Nick, you're the only person I know that spends more time on Facebook than both my grandmother and mother combined.
God damn it.
And somehow you achieved something that neither of them could. You got me to turn off my Facebook notifications. They say all Minnesotans are kind and humble, but then there's Nick, who's got his face on more things than a politician during election season.
True.
Seriously, Nick, you've got more swag with that bearded mug than the PCA has members. You hand out shirts and magnets like you're Oprah on a merch vendor. You get a shirt. You get a shirt. Everybody gets a shirt. Pretty soon we're going to need a Slavik support group for people drowning in that bearded merch.
God dang it.
I mean, Nick, honestly, like, I can't tell whether this is like a shampoo commercial or if you're just like moonlighting as a Russian mobster. The mobster angle might make a little more sense, though. The PCA flies you all over the country, taking money from painting contractors just so they can watch videos that look like they were filmed in the 1990s. Nick, you recruit members for the PCA like a mobster promising to protect small businesses. We pay you a fee, get nothing in return, and a couple times a year, a sweaty bearded man in a tracksuit shows up to repeat everything he told us last year.
It hurts because it's true.
I love your style. It's very like mob wife chic. We get it. Like, you're young, you're cool, you're hip. But seriously, I don't know many other 40-somethings who spend as much time in a minivan with high school kids that I haven't seen end up on the news.
Dang it.
Your hiring model reminds me of Matthew McConaughey's quote from Dazed and Confused.
No, don't say it.
That's what I love about these high school kids, man. I get older and they say the same age.
God damn it. It's so good.
Solid.
Which gives me a good idea. Seriously, for a new show you can do, it's called To Catch a Painter Live.
Oh, no.
I think there was a show with a similar title, and it was a great success.
God dang it, Christian.
And let's talk about your show, Ask a Painter Live. 8 years. It's longer than most celebrity marriages, so congrats there. Nick, you've answered more questions than Wikipedia, more painting questions than Wikipedia, and yet somehow you still managed to make watching paint dry look exciting. But seriously, Nick, we're all here because we love you. You're incredible. Dedication to the craft. Here's like to 8 more years of painter. And by the way, I do love the PCA. I just had to tie that into it. So.
Very nice.
You too, Christian.
Mob boss Nick Slavik with the PCA. It's a nice one. That was good creativity. I like that. Well, we saved arguably the best for last. We have Brad Ellison coming up next on deck. And many of you know Brad as he's had a meteoric rise in his new painting company, which of course is a little misleading as he spent many years running a painting company for someone else prior, or he was overpaid under the agreement that he would buy that painting company, allowing the founder to retire and honor his legacy. Brad had entered into that agreement with the founder, but as time went on, Brad decided he no longer wanted to commit to the agreement he had made, much like
This is all private information, by the way.
much like his first marriage.
Oh no! Sorry, I stepped on the joke. Damn it!
Brad is divorced and bald and short.
Oh my God!
But
Brad,
turnaround's going to happen. We need no look further than Brad's wife.
Jesus.
Anyone who has met her would say that he is #blessed. It's honestly a miracle. When Brad met her, he was bald, divorced, and a 5'2" loser. And somehow he was able to capture her in her own rebound fog. And now Brad takes videos of himself doing CrossFit workouts and posts them online, seeking the validation from strangers that he's never gotten. And there's a theme here today, validation he's never gotten from his father. Brad does not speak to his ex-wife, his ex-business partner, or his own father.
God damn.
Brad only cares about himself.
This is
Now that was pretty harsh. Even for me, that was pretty harsh. But there's a lot of material there to use. As you know, Brad's story, he's pretty used to taking it, right? There's a lot of material there. In fact, Brad is so used to taking it, sometimes late on a Saturday night, his wife will say, "Hey, do you mind if I be the submissive one tonight?" It's Brad Ellison, everybody.
Jesus loves you.
Wow.
God. Wow.
Thanks for having me. Happy to be a part of this. As usual, I'm just going to copy everything you guys just said and did, make it a little bit better, and then take credit for it. So,
On brand.
Let's start with Jason Pear. So I had looked forward to meeting Jason for many years. I first learned about him, as many of you guys did, when Dustin Hoffman played him in the movie Rain Man.
Well,
oh my God.
Jason considers, as someone noted, himself a philosopher. And I suppose if looking at thousands of memes per day while being unemployed, memes that were made by 12-year-olds make someone a philosopher, I suppose he is indeed a philosopher. So you're on.
oh no.
Can you imagine being one of Jason's partners at Olive Ventures? I've heard from inside sources that their massive salaries, high net worth, and even their company boat barely outweigh the burden of making sure Jason doesn't get their company canceled. Jason is one of my best friends. He is he's a kind of friend that will call me multiple times a day, leave voicemails of him singing random songs from the 90s. When I do answer the phone, I usually have to sit through the first verse and chorus of the hit 1998 song Blue by Eiffel 65. We all know the song, right?
Yo, listen up here.
Yeah. Now, so when you listen to that song, next time and you think to yourself, wow, this song could not get any worse, just imagine what it would sound like over a cell phone being half rapped, half sung by the whitest guy in Minnesota. He sends me an average of 35 cat memes a day on Instagram. He once spent an entire day editing clips of my podcast interviews to create a meme of me reciting the intro to Lose Yourself by Eminem. So we do all have a friend like that, right? Right? We all have Call the police. And I don't know if Jason's ever talked about this publicly, but Jason runs ultra marathons. This guy runs 100 miles at a time. It sounds impressive until I found out that he averages about a 16-minute per mile pace. So I ran it by my 91-year-old grandpa, and he did confirm that most of his friends do that workout every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, speed walking around the local mall. Truly not impressive. Chris Mole. Now, I have a really hard time liking Chris Mole because he's so freaking handsome. Look at that face. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine if this guy had an IQ over 75? With brains and good looks, he'd rule the world like his home country did for hundreds of years before the USA spanked the booty.
USA.
Right. This guy, Chris Mole, this guy's life was actually ruined by the Revolutionary War. If it weren't for the Patriots that fought on our behalf 250 years ago, Chris could actually be the chairman of the PCA. Now, can you imagine what his reign as chairman would look like? He'd insist on wearing one of those fruity crowns they have over across the pond. he'd probably have Chris Elliott as his vice chairman / executioner. And he spent all of his time trying to colonize all the other trades industries. Bro, colonization is over. Move on.
Classic.
Matt Kuiper. Now this man, Matt Kuiper is basically my idol. I want to be just like him. And I've taken steps. I want to be like him so badly that I stole his hairstyle. I decided to have a third child to try to catch up. I'm trying to get my wife to be the face of my company because I'm only moderately attractive like him. But where I draw the line, I will not do this. I will not do steroids. Let me clarify. Not for any ethical reasons. I don't care. I just don't want to get cancer.
Oh,
Jesus.
Oh no.
Jesus.
When Matt told me he had cancer and he told me the name of his cancer, I knew he was going to be fine. He had hairy cell leukemia. That is the freaking grossest sounding cancer in the history of cancer. Hairy cell, but I was confident he'd beat it because if you've ever seen this guy with his shirt off, he's been destroying every hair cell on his body from the neck down since puberty. Hairy cell, not a chance. Now, Maggie Kuiper.
Oh no.
I don't know why people thought Maggie was off limits. Oh, give me a break. Maggie Kuiper, or as she's known within the PCA circles, the board of directors' effort to meet a diversity quota.
Bradley, thank you. I didn't want to be the only one.
No one understands how hard it is to be a white guy in the painting industry these days. I feel like I'm like really having to work to earn a spot to maybe eventually be on the PCA board of directors. And all she had to do was swindle her husband out of 51% of their business. And then she can sit back and enjoy all the accolades. Well done, Maggie. Maggie is the mascot for every 30-something-year-old woman who grew up in a conservative Christian home, then just decided to get a bunch of tattoos to be edgy. Here's the secret, Maggie. Love you. You are not edgy. You own a horse. You live in a subdivision. And what you should really be judged on is the fact that you have vinyl siding on your house. Chris Elliott, the man who was the same height as me, but somehow twice as me. Basically, you're fat, Chris. I once asked Chris to go for a run with me, and he nearly had a heart attack just thinking about getting his heart rate up. But Chris, you are a phenomenal leader. I served under his leadership last year on the PCA's marketing committee, and I've never been a part of a group that was so organized, so regimented, so effective. I've also never been a part of a group that was so boring, but Chris said it was important that the group be boring because boring is his personal brand. Now, when I met my wife, I knew she was out of my league. She's better looking than me. She's funnier than me. She's more talented. She comes from an amazing family. Her parents are legends. They are an amazing example of a loving, godly couple that has raised amazing children. They've built a successful business that I knew I could simply ride the coattails of, particularly if my wife took the business over. I knew if I could marry this woman, I could just coast with my sugar mama for the rest of my life. Oh shit, I'm sorry. Those are my notes for Chad Kaloff. Yes. Hannah. Sweet, loud Hannah. The life of the party. Hannah has the type of spirit that I think I want my daughter to have as she grows up, but also leaves me slightly terrified. I envy a lot of what Hannah has and who she is, but what I envy her most for is having the one thing Nick, Jason Paris, and I never had and probably needed the most, which is a dad that loves us. Well, congratulations. We're all very, very happy for you. Christian. All right. I think you own a painting company called Moose Painting, and I'm sure you have a last name, but I don't know what it is.
Jesus.
Zach Kenny. Before I met Zach, I knew all about him. All I knew of him was his social media presence. Honestly, he appeared very self-centered, kind of flashy, pretty snobby. I really just didn't like him. But then we got to spend some quality time together at one of Nick's winter retreats, and I grew to really not like him for all of those same reasons. This dude figured out how to say that he was better than everyone else without actually saying he was better than everyone else. All he had to do was spray paint the bottom of a pair of shoes that every other painter in America would have to remortgage their houses to afford. Congrats on the baby girl, Zach. When you watch this back, really happy for you. You know that. May the Lord bless her, and may she never meet a man like you. And on to the guest of honor, Nick Slavik. Nick is an impressive human being. I think that he's terrible at math, though. He shares all the time that he uses his more than 3 decades of experience in the trades to blah, blah, whatever the phrase is. Now, if you factor in the time he spent as a toddler, time in school, time away in the military, by my math, he's somewhere in the neighborhood of 74 years old. Now, while the shape of his body and his general fitness level would say that age might be accurate, it's more likely that he just doesn't understand what a decade is. He has built an impressive business. He started from nothing, and in just 15 short years, he's built a company that generates more than $3 million in revenue and has more than 200 5-star Google reviews in only 15 years. That, honestly, Nick, that's an incredible feat. It took me almost 19 months to reach those heights.
I got something for you later. You hold.
When I think about Nick being the most famous person in our industry, I begin to wonder why. So he doesn't run the most profitable business. We know that. Paris, Kuipers, Elliott's, even I beat him in that area now. He's not the best painter. That's probably Zach. He's not even the best leader. You know, all I hear from him at his master classes are stories of everyone quitting on him all the time. But his facial hair. Homeboy's facial hair game is next level. From beard to old-timey mustache. Sometimes he does the full shave just to remind us all how freaking handsome he is. I figured out between the facial hair and a pair of overalls, he's literally the most famous of us simply because he looks what a dumb person thinks a painter should look like. Now, I think he should be a bit embarrassed that his facial hair is what makes him famous, but Nick, at least using your best quality to your advantage. Let's talk about Nick's wardrobe. Hey, Nick, my dad called, and he said he wants his 1988 ill-fitting sport coat back.
God damn it.
When Nick dresses up for an event, he looks like a high school kid who just went into his dad's closet and chose the pieces of clothing that were easiest to reach. I can picture him backstage before a speaking gig asking if anyone knows how to tie a tie right before he walks out. The only person I know with a worse wardrobe is my wife. Anytime she wears one of those freaking shirts with your face on it.
Oh, yeah, baby.
And you guys have all seen what Nick makes his crews wear while out in the field. It's all varying shades of beige, boring vanilla beige, nondescript, very unexciting, a rule-following type uniform. Coincidentally, vanilla, unexciting, and beige are how we could describe Nick's personality. So, now to be nice. I met Nick in person when he invited me to come to that winter retreat 2.5 years ago. Nick, you welcomed me into the fold. You introduced me to people, many of them on the call that have become some of my best friends. You have played a crucial role in changing my life. My company is what it is because of your influence, Nick, and then a few others. So you honor me with your friendship. I don't think there's a more beloved person in our industry for some reason. And I really look forward to hearing about how you apologize to each of us for all the roasts you're about to say. Congrats on the anniversary, man. Here's to many more.
Love you, Brad.
Cheers.
Love you, Brad.
Thank you, Brad, for running us out there. And now it, of course, is Nick's turn. So, Nick, the floor of yours. Do you want to put your face on the big screen, Nick? I know you have to probably have to cycle through each one. Let's get your face on the big screen.
Might take 5 minutes.
All right, everybody hold tight. I'm just a simple house painter from flyover country. This will only take 3 minutes. So, all right, hold tight, hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Then we'll bring in. Countdown's beginning. Here we go. We should all be there. Okay. Man, this is awesome. All right. Rearranging screens again. Hold tight, everybody. Sorry, we got like dual screens up here. Okay, so Jason is in love with his wife, and he is an ultra runner. Because of this, he now has more children than toenails. Little known fact, Jason actually got into ultra running because he signed up for a 401k. Slow burn on that one. Okay. Jason is a dick.
Excuse me?
All right, I got to start that one over again. All right, hold tight. Jason is a dick. Cheney. Jason and I are very introverted, as you all know. When somebody asks us how many Nicks and how many Jasons it takes to screw in a light bulb, we say, does it have to be a group activity? Maggie's a boss. She wears the tiny American flag shorts in the family. Matt's American flag shorts are so tiny you can see his large average job size. Matt, I'm sorry, buddy. We'll see you with my family in 2 weeks on the beach at Hannah's house in a little bit, so please talk to me then. People call Matt the Lance Armstrong of our painting industry, not because he's the best, because he had cancer.
Yep.
Sorry, buddy. Chris Mole. People have compared Chris Mole to Elvis, not because of his good looks or singing, but because nobody's looking forward to seeing what he looks like in his 50s. With the cheeseburger years. Chris loves Ian crumpets. Chris loves boomerangs. He loves haggis. He loves Guinness. He's some sort of Euro-Australian, whatever, right? All I know is he's not American. 1776. Never forget, Chris Mole. Chris Mole is an American the same way that Brad Ellison is an owner of a $5 million painting company. Hashtag stolen valor. Chris Elliott was an Army Ranger. I was a paratrooper. In Afghanistan, we got anthrax vaccines. Yes, Chris. Yes. We took a ton of mefloquine, anti-malarial drug, right? Crazy dreams. Am I right, Chris? All right. And we ate so many MREs. It's a miracle we were able to have kids, but we persevered through. Victory. Hannah and Chad are the life of the party. So much so, all the calls on their phone are outgoing. Little dad joke for you there. Okay. Hannah and Chad mentioned sandpaper on Instagram way less times than Brad Ellison posts shirtless CrossFit pictures on Instagram. Christian starts every one of his videos with "What's good?" I used to think "What's good?" was my Instagram following until I became friends with Christian. Now I know what Brad Ellison feels like to become friends with me. Zach Kenny. All right, I got two more here. Bear with me, guys. Zach Kenny. Zach just had a baby. That means he remains undefeated in practicing safe sex and job costing. 0 for 0 lifetime. All right.
Yeah.
And I have a little something special for everybody here. This is gonna take some doing. I'm gonna drop the first person off next there. We're gonna put this here. All right, hold tight, everybody. I got to do some moving around. I got one little special surprise for everybody right here. I will probably not be rewarded for trying to make something interesting, but we will do it anyway.
The screen is wider than the PCA board of directors.
Thank you, Brad. Thank you, Brad, for that.
Hey, Brad, it's me again. We've spoken about this before. For the last time, it's production, not sales, that dictates the size of the company.
What?
I'll give you your hair back if you repent.
This is awkward.
Anyway, peace. See you in the fam Sunday.
Wow.
Oh,
that was definitely worth it, Nick. It was worth whatever you thought the cost was.
That cost
Nick-
$45. How dare you?
And that was great.
Brad, little something special for you. I felt the theme of everybody going towards Brad, so I did a little special
There you go.
project. at
Well, I
the
know we
end.
got to wrap this up. I'll just say, Nick, you're a great guy. You care about your people and your company. You care about your family. You care about your impact on the industry. I think you're a transitional character more than you realize, obviously for your family, for those who work for you, and those who are in the industry. You're a beacon of hope. You're a friend to a lot of people, and we all appreciate you. So thanks for doing what you do. Congratulations on 8 years, and to many, many more.
Yes.
Love
Love you, Nick.
Everybody.
Love you all.
Love
You guys know how much you mean to me. This is awesome. You only roast the ones you love. We love each other. You guys over the last couple of years have literally taught me like the meaning of friendship, and I wouldn't be the human I am. This show wouldn't be what it is, and I wouldn't be a father, a craftsman, a business owner like I am now without you guys. So I just want to tell you guys, I appreciate you. And thank you for doing this, guys.
Love you
I
guys.
Yeah. Love you guys.
All right. Love you guys.
Love you.
Bye.